Hi, welcome to Dwayne's Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video lesson, we're going to be working on the Mixolydian mode. In this video series that I've been doing, I've been working on the modes, and we are now up to the fifth one, which is the Mixolydian mode. And we're doing these in the key of G, so just a little recap real quick here before we proceed. We're doing this in the key of G major. If you don't know what your modes are scales that come out of the major scale. The notes of the major scale. You got 7 notes in the major scale, 7 modes. That's why there's only 7 of them. So you have your Ionian mode that's off the first note, which would be G major. You have your Dorian mode off the second note, which would be A minor. Your Phrygian, which would be the third, which is B here. That's minor, another minor. Then we have the Lydian, which we did last time. That's off the fourth. That would be C major Lydian. And now we're coming to the fifth, which is going to be the D Mixolydian. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 octave. Okay? So we're now to the fifth one, the Mixolydian mode. And the Mixolydian mode in the key of G major would be the D Mixolydian. So if you hear that somewhere like on YouTube or something, see D Mixolydian, that's what that means. That you're playing this mode at the D position, 10th fret right here, or you can play it right here, 5th string, 5th fret. We're just going to play it right here. So this fret, this mode is going to be in D. It's going to be 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12. That's the first octave. Then it's going to repeat itself and go 12, 9, 11, 12, 10, 12, 13, 10, 12. Now what's great about this particular mode is that what we do with it is we flatten the 7. Okay? The 7th note, we move it back. Now in the Lydian mode, hopefully you watched that video. If you didn't, I would recommend checking that out. I leave the links below for all the other videos, the modes and stuff, so check that out. But in the Lydian mode, we sharpen the 4th note. Normally in a major scale, your 3 and your 4 are next to each other, and your 7 and octave are next to each other. So by changing them, you change the characteristic of the mode, of the scale, so to speak. Okay? So in the Lydian mode, we changed the 4th note. We kept everything else the same, but we took the 4th note and we moved it forward, so then it was closer to the 5th. So the 4th and 5th were next to each other. In this mode, we're going to leave the 4th where it is, and we're going to take the 7th note, and instead of moving it forward, we're going to move it back. So now it's going to be next to the 6th note, which is going to change the characteristic of their scale. So for instance, if we're on D right here, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 would normally be right here, and then next to the octave. Now if you listen to those 3 notes, they sound kind of happy, right? Oops, here we go. See how it has just kind of a happy sound? Because the 7 is in its normal position. But if we take this 7 and we move it back 1 fret, now it's next to the 6. Now listen to the way it sounds. See how it sounds different now? It doesn't sound quite as happy as it did. So that's what we've done in this mode, is we've taken the 7th note and we've moved it back by 1 fret. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, octave. And then we can start here and go into the next octave further across the fretboard. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're ever at 3, you know 4 is going to be right next to it in the major scale. If it's the Lydian mode, the 4th would be raised to here, but we're not doing that mode, we're doing the Mixolydian. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since we flattened the 7, it's going to be right next to the 7, to the 6, so it's going to be right here. And then the octave right here. So and see how that changing just that one note really adds a certain tone to the scale. And then the rest of the mode ends on 12 right here, which would be the 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and then the octave. And then if we go back again, octave, flat 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry about that. Gotta learn to count backwards here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, octave. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, octave. And there's a lot of, look at the cool things you could do. And you can listen to how that sounds. It sounds different than the major scale just because we've altered one note. And that's the whole purpose of this whole thing that you're trying to accomplish, is that you're trying to accomplish changing up the tonality and the characteristics of the notes by moving them around and getting some different textures out of them, different flavors, different colors out of them. You know, like let's say for instance you had red, now you're getting different shades of red, okay, by doing that. And since this has a flat 7, it would work great over a dominant chord because a dominant has a flat 7, like a D7 for instance. A D7 has a flat 7 in it. So if you were working with a progression that had the flat D flat 7 in it, D7, well I don't call it D flat 7, just D7, this would work great. That's your D7 right there. Kind of hear how it sounds. It works really well over that. Doing a D minor, you know, and it's a major mode. The Mixolydian is a major mode because of, once again, how do we determine major or minor? Do you remember? It's the third note. It's the third note in there. Okay, so when you play a D major chord right here at the 10th fret, a D major bar chord, you got to ask yourself, is this note, which is right here, the second finger on the third string, that's your third in a major bar chord. So that note is that note in the scale. Well, let's find out. Yep, right there. So we can tell that that's a major mode because it has the natural third in it right there. In that second octave, right there. There's a G right there because that's the A. See how that works? So that's what you want to kind of look at. When you're playing the Mixolydian mode, you want to look at the formula. What is the formula? It's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And if you'd like to learn more about the modes, I would highly recommend you check out my book, How to Play Guitar Modes, that I authored and self-published. So this is for beginners, intermediate students. Got a lot of stuff on the modes, all 7 of them. I've got some diagrams in there, and I tell you all about like the chord formulas, the notes within the keys. I give you Ionian mode, guitar licks, Dorian mode, licks within the Phrygian mode, Lydian mode. Okay, all the modes. Give you each individual mode. I talk about each individual mode and what's good about it and what you can do with it. Okay, very, very good book for learning the modes. Very easy to read. Step-by-step lesson method book. Learn this, you'll be learning the modes in no time, answer a lot of your questions. Alright, so check that out. You can find it on my website at dwaynesguitarlessons.com. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you have anything that you've learned about the modes, you have any questions, leave me in the comments below. and we'll get those answered for you. If you've found any secrets that you've unlocked about the modes, be sure to leave those in the comments below, because it really helps out people who come along and watch the video yourself. So keep going, keep practicing, and we'll see you at our next lesson.
Audio Jungle.